morning. It's a wet one, as you've just seen. The bit of doggy footage. Henry's out there looking out. Yeah. And I've also fessed up to the state of my kitchen floor, which I thought I'd share with you. I know I'm not the only one with dogs, so I know I'm not the only one that can have a kitchen floor that looks like that. So that was my dose, my gift to you all with dogs, of feeling better that I too have a kitchen floor that looks like it belongs in the garden and not in the kitchen. This is clean, by the way. It's clean. I clean it. But don't you get to that point when you think, you clean it and then they're out again? So anyway, enough of all that. Very good morning to you. It's my first proper day, even though yesterday it started, my first proper day of my Sustainable Challenge. Now let's call it the second day actually. As I said, I'm heading off to quilting class today, and I thought I would show you what I've done the last 3 weeks. I think we're in class 4 today. So we're making a 9-block quilt, and the plan is to make 1 block a week, but we've been zooming ahead, and I've got 5 blocks now to show you. So I'm going to flick the camera around and show you what I've made thus far. So here we go. Excuse all the mess as usual in the background. So the first one was that one, and all of you who quilt will know the name of that pattern, and I can't remember. The second one was this one. The third one was this one, the pinwheel. It's got a bit of fluff on it, which I absolutely love that. But that really challenged me geometrically. The fourth one was one of my all-time favourite patterns, the star. I'm sure it's called something else. And then we did this one last week as well, which I'm also quite proud of, which is really lovely. So as you can see, I went really kind of pale or pastel-y for me. I'm not a brown person, but I love oatmeal and fawn colours. So I thought those with blue, and then as when we do get round to doing our bedroom, this will be a quilt that will feature in the bedroom. So I'm super chuffed with that. So there'll be, excuse me, 9 blocks in all. And then we'll be putting sashing in the middle, and then the border, and then the last couple of classes will be teaching us how to hand quilt it or machine quilt it, whichever way we decide to go. So this morning I've cut out the pieces. Then take you over here because it's such a disaster. It took me so long to get the vlog up last night that I got behind in cutting out my squares. We're doing the 6-block colour wheel, which is this one today. So I've cut out my colour blocks there. I didn't know what to use for background, and look, I got a very small stash of fat quarters, probably in fact about 2, and one of them was this. So this is going to be my background, but I need to, I'm a bit worried it's not going to. What do you think? Let's take it over in the daylight. I don't know whether it's the right blue. Oh, I think that'll be okay, won't it? Again, I don't really want to buy any more when I've got that sitting there, and I bought it because I loved it. So I'm going to use that as the background. So come with me on a quilt adventure and we'll see how we go. started. Yes, okay, so we've just finished our class, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been to our patchwork class and it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Really super.
You really enjoy it, don't
lovely,
you?
Lovely people there.
And we had a good old natter. I spent way too long talking. Like
she
I
hasn't
do.
stopped.
Yeah, and I've also been persuaded to teach a weaving class and a sock knitting class. So yeah, you're going to come though, aren't you?
Oh, definitely, yes.
She has to, because I'm giving her a lift home. So. And then we had a nice bit of lunch.
Yes.
Had
your eggs.
Yeah, I didn't have eggs, did I?
Oh no,
I had turkey sandwich today.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about how many eggs I'm eating at the moment. And Mum has a rather nice fruit scone, don't you?
Yes, very nice.
It passes the granny test, which is important because you're a bit of a connoisseur of scones, aren't you?
I am.
Mum goes out with her friends and they test scones everywhere. They're very discerning. So, and now we're just off back home. So I'm going to return my mother to my father, and hopefully we might get a bit of footage of the hills today. I might give you the camera
okay.
We might get a bit of footage because we drive over the South Downs, and if the sun is out or vaguely out, it's really pretty, so you might get some of that as well.
Right.
Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, it's tea time. Well, it's coming up to tea time anyway, and I've just put together the bits of the vlog from the class today, and I thought I would do a little sort of summary wind up as I promised last night. Today's was not going to be as long, really not as long, and Thursdays are mostly about my quilting because it's what I did most of the day. So it's only a half-day class, but Mum and I have a bit of lunch there as well before we come home. And then, yeah, just stuff. So what I was going to show you, though, before I talk about my day 2 of my Sustainable-ish challenge, I was going to show you my knitting. So I'm knitting a simple raglan cardigan, top down. There it is. Do you get muddled up when you look at top down stuff? Because it's actually, right, okay. That's, oh, it's ever so yellow because I've got the lights on in here, which is probably really bad vlogging, but this is a ballerina pink. And I don't know if that shows up. It probably shows up as a bit of a horrible yellow. I'll have to look when I edit it. But it's such a gorgeous yarn, and this lace pattern is on the raglan of the sleeve, so this is coming down to be the front sleeve, so it's sort of like that, but you can see how pretty it is. And this is, oh Henry, good boy, this is the yarn that Linda gave me, or that I took from Linda on Sunday for a trade for helping her on the show. She gave me a very nice gesture of this. So this is kettle yarn. Can you see that? It has gone yellowy. Islington DK, which is British Superwash Blue Face Leicester and silk. Now, those of you who've known me a while will know that as a rule I don't use silk. I'm ethically opposed to silk because of the way they cultivate it and what they do. I have no affinity towards moths and silkworms, but I don't like the way that they're treated. Is that right? I don't like the way it's harvested. Basically, I think it's hideously awful, and I'm not going to talk about it here. If you're interested, either let me know and I can let you know, or you know, Google it, because it's not nice. But for years I've avoided silk, but I just had a bit of a mad moment, and I thought, I just love this so much. And do you know what? Once every now and then is okay. So, and this yarn, oh, it's so lovely. The sheen on it is incredible. And Linda, and this is not sponsored at all, Linda works very hard to source British yarns, and actually develops blends specific to her business. So there's some blends that she has that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, and I adore this one. So yeah, that's the cardigan I'm currently working on. I'll put that there and rattle like you do. I have other stuff to work on as well, but for the moment that will do, I think, about my knitting. I'm going to sit down tonight and do some. Gary's off out to see a friend for a couple of hours, so it's just Hannah and myself. We're going to have an early tea, and we usually sit down together, maybe watch something off Amazon or Netflix or something like that. There's some, we have like, do you have comfort TV shows? We have kind of like comfort shows, so things that I suppose we've watched over the years that we just both love watching, and it's just a certain ilk of show. Although last year we did watch The Umbrella Academy on Netflix, which is totally bizarre, and neither of us really, you watch it and you think, what? But actually we really enjoyed it. But we will watch things like NCIS, so sort of procedural crime things. We loved Warehouse 13. Has anybody watched Warehouse 13? Absolutely love that. Occasionally we'll go right back in time, Honey's Bone, sorry, and watch Stargate SG-1. So it's kind of a bit, I don't know, we both just really like that. She's, oh really? She's probably now going to play with it. Excuse me just a sec. Honey. Okay, I'm back, hopefully. And now Henry's chewing about. Oh man. Now she's going up there. It's all real life stuff here, I can tell you. Right, so next bit. My Sustainable-ish challenge. I've had lovely comments and support from some folks watching. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited that some of you are going to jump on board too. Oh, no. I just realised I made a cup of tea and brought it in, except I didn't. It's in the kitchen. I was worried Hanny was going to knock it over. That's why I suddenly knew. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if you're going to jump in, even in the smallest possible way, it would be great. And in fact, at quilting class today, I talked about it, and a couple of ladies were, I think I might do that. Poor Sarah, who owns the shop, you know, retail. I don't think she was thanking me very much, but so that's really good. It's always nice to do something with others, isn't it? Kind of motivates you along a bit. A few of you have said you would indeed be willing to kind of sponsor me, as it were, or pledge £1 towards, I don't want to say Bill's School or Gainer's Bill's School, or anyway, if you missed what I spoke about at the end of yesterday, just pop back and have a look at that so you know what I'm talking about. But I'm basically doing a double whammy. I'm attempting to not buy anything new for the next 40 days, as well as trying to live a more sustainable life, and at the same time trying to raise a little bit of money for the school, a special needs school up in Bristol, for some very special children. But it's run as a charity, it's privately funded, and therefore they're always in need of funds. So I'm doing my bit to support to support that. So if you'd like to add that, I still haven't worked out whether to do a PayPal money pool, that's what it is, which looks quite good actually, and literally you can just go and deposit £1 into it. It's like a way, a bit like, for those of you who are probably closer to my age or older, you might remember we used to do Christmas clubs, so where you'd pay £1 every week, or £5 every week, or £10 every week, and somebody would keep a book and there'd be an account where all your money was kept until Christmas, and then it was all divvied out, which actually was a cracking idea. I used to love doing that where I used to work. So this one is similar, so you could pay your £1, except it's not weekly, of course, it's a one-off sponsorship, £1 for my 6 weeks, and you can just pay it into the money pool, which is then totally accountable. You can see it, I believe, online, and I can show you it on here. You can use a card or a PayPal balance or whatever you'd like to put the money in there, and then I won't touch that until the end of the 6 weeks, when, provided I have upheld my end of the bargain, then all that money will go over to Gaynor to deposit in the school account. And hopefully, I'm kind of hoping we can maybe raise £100. I think if we could do that. Also, the other thing I was going to say is, for those of you who said you are going to jump on board and try it, I will put £1 in to the money pool to sponsor each of you. So the more of you who jump in and say you're going to do it and do this along with me, I will then put the £1 in as well for each of you. So there you are, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I've decided that I'm using one of my journals, see, that I already have, and each day I'm going to fill in, is that the one? Yeah, so day 1 yesterday, bit boring, but day 2, you can see. So I'm going to fill this in each day. I have made 0 purchases today. I bought nothing at the sewing shop. Nothing at all. I accept a sandwich for lunch, which, as I said, is allowed. Yeah, and because I discovered that little patch, that fat quarter, last night, I didn't have to buy any more fabric for my quilt, which was great. I'm also going to try and do a little bit of investigation each time, and today's investigation was tea bags, and whether, I actually started off looking into whether or not it's better to have loose leaf tea, or whether tea bags are okay from a sustainable, environmentally friendly viewpoint. And I've read probably 4 or 5 articles, and this is just me looking on the internet. So some of these things I've read do refer to research papers, but this is enough to give me an idea and maybe pass the thought on to you. I didn't realise that up until last year, certainly most tea bags contained plastic. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can you believe it? And it's primarily in the heat sealant that they use to seal the edge of the tea bags. Some of it is in the, I'll call it paper, but the actual baggy bit, but a lot of it was in the sealant. And I think last year quite a few people got onto this and tackled some of the bigger producers, and a lot of them have moved over to plastic-free tea bags now, but a lot of them still aren't. I drink Sainsbury's Red Label. That's my favourite tea, Hannah's favourite tea. And there is no, I looked, and the only tea bags that Sainsbury's say are plastic free are one of their special fair trade blends. I mean, this tea is fair trade as well, but not their you know, their bog standard everyday Red Label tea. So, and apparently it is a big thing. A lot of these micro plastic molecules then end up in the water table when we throw away our tea bags. So also found out, I read a little bit about tea production, and you know, it's the cruddy dog ends of the tea leaves that are put in the tea bags. So I mean,
that's fine, isn't it? I mean, I mean, we all drink from tea bags, or a lot of us drink from tea bags, but apparently you get a far better flavour with loose leaf tea. And also, I didn't know that if you can reuse the loose leaves a couple of times if you want to. And you can also, once they're dry again, you can use them as a natural deodorizer. So a bit like bicarbonate soda. You can put a little bowl of dried out tea leaves in the back of your fridge to help keep that fresh. You can use it on your cat's litter trays, which helps deodorize and neutralize that rather pungent smell that cats can make on litter trays. And of course you can just pop them directly onto your flower beds to rot down and fertilise the ground. But I had no idea about the natural deodorizer. I also read an article where if you then dry out the leaves, because a lot of the actual tea leaves in the loose tea, they're not unattractive, especially herbal ones, but you know, they're quite stalky and stemmy. And I found a recipe online where somebody, when you dry them out, you use them as a basis for potpourri. And you can just tip some essential oil, sprinkle some essential oil onto them. So, wow, the humble tea leaf, the camellia plant mostly, isn't it, I think? Or that probably depends what blend you have. There's your fact for today. So I am going to, I might get some loose leaf tea next time I shop. I could go to the zero waste shop actually and get some. I believe I have a tea strainer, and I think I have a one cup infuser, just the little tiny one. I don't have a posh teapot or the mug diffusers, and of course I won't be buying those, but I might give it a try with just a plain old fashioned tea strainer and a teapot. But I do have a box and a half of tea bags from Sainsbury's also in the cupboard, so I'm not going to waste those. I will be using those, but I think I'm going to look seriously moving over to loose leaf tea. There you go. Close the book. End of Jackanory time. Oh, I was going to put that back, but Honey is very kindly sitting there. So that'll do you. Look, that's 15 minutes. So this is the podcast part of my vlog podcast thing. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting, these little bits of information. I have stuck to my challenge today, which I'm very happy about. I'm going to go and cook some tea. Oh, you can't see Henry. I have to dip down. Look, he's looking up into camera. I hope you've all had a really good day. And oh, I should just say as well that I'm sure you worked it out, but the filming of the drive back to where we live home from the quilting place, sorry, a message just came up on my phone, was double time. I speeded up and Mum was holding the camera, so it wasn't me. I was concentrating on the road and I wasn't speeding. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you again tomorrow for more of the same. Chin chin.
Hannah, what have you done to Honey?
She did it to herself.
What have you done to Honey?
She likes it.
Really?
Look how happy she looks.
Help me.
There we go. Oh.